Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to predict the 4-game CSGO main slate on Friday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports, daily fantasy sports slates, esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and this one, Counter-Strike CSGO. Also, just want to say thank you guys for all the support. Seriously, we're almost at 3.4 thousand subscribers. If you guys enjoy this content, if you could leave a like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Those things do help me out to continue to grow this channel. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, a 5-star rating and review would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we get into players and the prices for this 4-game slate, what we can do is look back at my lineup here from Thursday slate. So Thursday slate, a forgettable one for me. It was a tricky slate for sure. There was 4 games, and all 4 games were basically pick-em. So you could really go either way. Now the first game, I kind of took a stand and was hoping for the FaZe upset, I guess. I know they were only slight underdogs, but Big just continues to play really well. They won 2-0. Now, both were close, but yeah, they Big is, you could argue right now Big is the best team in CSGO right now for the Counter-Strike they've playing, the teams they've been beating, right? They've been on fire. But yeah, I went a little bit contrarian because I knew the FaZe guys were going to be lower owned, right? Cold Zero, 10%. I threw him in the captain spot. Nico at 13%. Whereas you had those big guys at like 30, 40. So I think Xantar is almost at 50% owned. So that was a shot I was willing to take in a game. I know Big is one. Again, I talked about it in my recent video. It's kind of just more of a gut feeling there, and I went with it. Didn't end up working out. The C9 guides were great, right? Floppy, 80 fancy points. MOTM was a little bit disappointing. It was actually Sonic that had the better game. It's always either one of MOTM or Sonic. It usually has a really, really good game. Quesarado, the Furia guys lost 2-1. It was a close series, but it was, the EG guys who wanted more, right? Cirque, I think, had like 90. He had a really, really good day. And then the OG Heretics game, OG ended up winning that one 2-1 as well. Navarro was still solid in a losing effort, but just all in all, it was a tricky slate. There was, again, all the games were pick-ems. I took a couple stands here with the FaZe guys and, with Heretics, I think, but didn't really work out for me. So the good thing about DFS is there's always another day. And again, we have a nice 4-game slate here to talk about for Friday's slate. So let's just jump right into it. Let's take a look at the odds here for these games. So again, the early games, I don't know why they don't have an early slate, but they're not including those games. So it is what it is. The first game here is FaZe versus Heretics. We have FaZe minus 450 favorites. I don't know if I necessarily agree with those odds. I know Heretics lost today to OG 2-1, but FaZe have also really been struggling. So, yeah, maybe for a betting guy, maybe lay a little bit of money on Heretics. And then we have X6 Tense versus ENCE. ENCE minus 290 favorites. Feel pretty good about them. There's a couple of really nice prices there in ENCE, especially with a Lou. And then we have mibr versus Furia. Again, we've seen this matchup multiple times. Furia minus 180 favorites. Furia has, dominated this series, but recently mibr did win the last game. And then we have, it's not up on Bravada, but we have Chaos versus Gen.G. Gen.G minus 256 favorites that are up right now on GG.bet. So let's talk about the first game here. Let's start with the X6 side first. Again, they're pretty big underdogs, right? Not huge, I guess. What's the numbers again? Plus 205. Let's take a look. We can scroll through their numbers for the last 3 months. No one really looks great, right? You have QueenX 0.58, 0.68, Refresh at 0.69 and 0.68, Hooksy at 0.55 and 0.73, definitely stay away. Nudios at 0.63 and 0.67, and then the new edition Hecto at 0.74 and 0.68. So it's a tricky one. Their prices, like, I'm not going to pay 9.2K for Refresh unless I'm trying to get really, really contrarian. Even if I am, I still don't even know if I get to him. Maybe I would just take a shot in the new edition in Hecto at 7K. Again, he has decent numbers, but probably against lesser competition. So this team in general, I honestly just don't have a whole lot of interest in. Like QueenX, even the cheapies are not that cheap. QueenX is 6.4, Hoopsie 6.6. It's probably a complete stay away from me, to be honest, really. Like, normally I don't say that on smaller slates, but I don't think I would even consider anyone on this team. Maybe Hecto, but I'm not a huge fan of this squad. Let's talk about the ENCE side. So the price that really, really stands out to me is Alou at 8.2K. I love him. I think he's my favorite play of the day for his price. He's way too cheap. They're pretty big favorites, and he's the guy that does carry this roster. He is like a Zywoo, right, for Vitality. He can put this team on his back, and he just has far superior numbers compared to everyone else on his team. So for the last 3 months, his numbers are sitting at 0.75 kills per round, 0.60 deaths per round. We have Ariel at a negative, right, 0.62 and 0.69. Sergey at even at 0.65 and 0.65. Sunny, negative, 0.65 and 0.7. And then 7 at 0.5 and 0.59 and 0.67. So, again, everyone negative. This looks like a Vitality roster, right, where Zywoo has really great numbers, everyone else not so much. So, Alou is one of my favorite, if not my favorite play of the day there at that price. The other members of ENCE, Jampy, it looks like he's not going to be playing with them anymore. Yeah, he's out, so do not play Jampy. The other price tags here look okay, though, right? So you have 7 at 6.8, Sergey at 6.8, Sunny at 6.2, Ariel at 5.6. I think just, they're all somewhat similar plays. I mean, I think I would probably take the cheapest option next in Ariel at 5.6K. Again, I know he doesn't have great numbers, but compared to everyone on this roster, pretty similar, right? Sergey has the next best, but he's also 6.8K. I don't know. I'd probably rank him Alou definitely number one, far and away from me. And then Ariel just because he's the cheapest, and then maybe Sergey. But yeah, I think you definitely can get some exposure here. I think, again, they're the favorites. They should be more popular. Alou is one of my favorite plays of the day for sure. Next, let's talk about Heretics and FaZe. So this one, again, we have, let's see, FaZe minus 450 favorites. I don't necessarily agree with that because if you just look at their recent performance, FaZe have lost the last 3 games and have lost 2-0 the last 3 against Complexity, Vitality, and Big. I know Heretics have lost the last 2 games too. Both teams are not coming in great form. But Heretics is a young, up-and-coming team. I still think they are a solid team. I don't think they should be this big underdogs. I definitely agree FaZe should be favorites, but I don't think by this much. So let's first start with the Heretic side here. So we get a nice discount from Maka on the previous slate Maka. He was, 10.2K. Now he's 8K. Navarro was at a similar price. I think he's 7.4. Now he's 7K. And Lucky, I think, was at 7K last slate. Now he's at 6K. So the prices all dropped on these guys. So they definitely look more appealing. I know they're still underdogs, but we've seen big games from these guys. And Maka's like a guy that's put up like 100 fantasy points in, I think, like almost half his games that they have on Draftkings, arguably more than half. Right, like again, you can count those first series 100, 123, 106, right? So he's had really good games. Now he did have a really bad game there against OG, 24 and 48. Not something you normally see from him. So I think he's more of a contrarian play because they are underdogs, but we know when he's playing well, the upside is there. Now Navarro was the guy that I played today. He had the best day on the Heretic side. I went 52 and 44 in a losing effort. I think he looks pretty decent as if you want to go this Heretic side. Him and Lucky would probably be my preferred plays for their prices. Navarro at 7K, Lucky at 6K. That looks pretty decent. Again, I know they're underdogs. Kiyoshima and XMS are probably stayaways for me. I know Kiyoshima has been relatively decent recently, but it's those top 3 guys I have the most interest in, and probably Navarro and Lucky for their respective prices. Not saying Mac is out of play, but I think he's just more of a contrarian play. And then on the FaZe side, I think you got to have interest in this team. I know I don't necessarily agree with them being that big of favorites, but I still think they should be favorites. Nico at 8.8 looks really good, and Cold Zero at 7.6K also looks pretty good to me. And those are usually my 2 targets on FaZe, and once again, those are the top 2 guys I'm looking at for sure. Nico has the best overall numbers. He has the upside to put up over 100. on any given slate. So really like Nico at his price. coldzera, again, is he's the second best player on this team. He has the second best numbers, 0.7 and 0.63 as far as kills per on deaths per round. So I like coldzera a good amount. When him and Brokey are about the same price, I'm just going to give the edge to coldzera. Brokey can definitely outperform coldzera. We've seen it. Like, he's flashy upside with the op, but when they're the same price, I'm just going to give the edge to coldzera. Now, with Rain and BMOS, both have been a little bit up and down. Both have flashed some upside, though. And I think, again, because they're favorites, you can consider these guys as cheapies. You're not really going to feel great about it. Like, I'm not confident in recommending Rain or BMOS. But I think they are still viable as, as cheaper options. Next, let's talk about mibr versus Furia. So we have this one sitting at Furia minus 175 favorites. Furia have dominated the series, but mibr did win the most recent one. This is just a series I can't seem to get right. I recommended mibr multiple times when I played Furia, saying that they're even teams. I think mibr can win this one, and they lost every time. The one time I touted Furia, mibr won. So whatever I say in this one, go against me. But yeah, I do think these teams are pretty evenly matched, so I really do think this one could go either way, even though Furia are favorites. So let's take a look at the mibr side first on the prices. Prices look pretty good in these guys. Fallen at 7.8K, he always seems to be most expensive on this team. Gen.G at 7K, Fur at 6.6K. So once again, it's going to be Fur and Gen.G are going to be my preferred plays for the discount, right? Not saying Fallen's out of play, but you could argue Fur and Gen.G have better numbers and they're cheaper. So Gen.G sitting at 0.74 kills per round, 0.67 deaths per round, Fur at 0.74 and 0.69, and then Fallen at 0.73 and 0.61. So relatively similar, and you're getting Fur and Gen.G at discounts there. So I think those guys would be my preferred plays if you were going to look to someone on the mibr side. Not saying Fallen's out of play. I think I just like the savings a little bit more on Gen.G and Fur. Tacos basically stay away. Now TRK at a 5.4K price point, I think is a GPP only play. He's been a little bit up and down, but has flash upside. Right, he's had a couple of games where he's taken over for the team. I think he's pretty similar to a guy like BMOS in the slate, right? For FaZe, very up and down. He does have a ceiling, right? BMOS has had games where he's carried FaZe, but also has a pretty low floor. So I don't think I could go there in cash games, but when he's playing well, BMOS for FaZe, TRK for mibr have taken over games for their respective teams. On the Furia side, also the prices look pretty good. The top three guys with Henny, Caserado, and Yuri, 7.4, 7.4, and 7.2K respectively. That looks really good for those top three guys. Now Art had a really good game today, and he has been playing good recently. I think you got to still consider Art. He's a very aggressive player. Again, I know I say that a lot, but he's usually the one initiating the gunfights, and if he's winning those initial gunfights, he can have the ability to put up a really big score. So I'm not saying Art's out of play, but I still prefer Yuri, Caserado, and Honey, even though they're a little bit more expensive. They just have better overall numbers. Yuri 0.74 and 0.61 as far as kills per round, deaths per round. Caserado 0.71 and 0.56, and then Henny at 0.69 and 0.56. Art, he's negative at 0.69 and 0.74, but looking at those numbers again, he's in a lot of those engagements. Vinny is probably a stay away unless you think Furia win 2-0. I think that's the only way I would consider him, because again, that's where you get the 2-0 bonus, the plus 20. But really, my focus again is on those top three guys with Henny, Caserado, Yuri. I think the prices look pretty good. The prices in this game in general look pretty good on the Furia side and the mibr side. So I think if you can get this game right, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape, because the potential for these guys to have upside games at their prices is really high. And then lastly, let's talk about Gen.G and Chaos. So we have Gen.G minus 256 favorites. Let's talk about the Gen.G side first. So their prices look pretty good here too. They're the favorites. They're going to be a lot more popular. I know they've really been struggling. They lost to 0-2 to Cloud9. The previous three games, they lost 0-2 to Liquid, EG, and Furia. Now again, all good teams, but they lost the last four games all in 0-2 fashion. But again, the good thing is they're favorites here. And the prices look really good. Bentent at 6.4, Kusta at 6.8. Those two guys really, really stand out to me. Like, I really like those guys on the slate. I know, again, they haven't been good recently, but These are the two guys that I feel the most confident for their respective prices. No, I know they're both hovering around a 1.0 KD right now just because of how bad they played recently. Automatic with the AWP, I still think is viable, but he's just a little bit more 7.2K. So I would probably rank these guys Bentent 1, Kusta 2, Automatic 3 for their prices. Daps is a stay away from me. Som at 5.8K. I just think if you're getting to this Gen.G side, you just get to Kusta and Bentent. Not saying Som can't outperform those guys, but historically, it's most of the time it's going to be Bentent and Kusta having better games. So I would just prefer getting to them for a little bit more. And then lastly, let's talk about the Chaos side here. So those two guys I've mentioned, it's Zeppa at the top at 8.4 and Leaf at 5.4K. Again, if you just scroll through these guys' numbers, right, the first three guys, not great. Then you have Zeppa at 0.82 and 0.63. That obviously really stands out. And Leaf at 0.78 and 0.67. So Zeppa's at 8.4, whereas Leaf is at 5.4K. I think Leaf looks pretty good for a value option. I think you can use him as a one-off if you need a value play, right? He has good numbers for this team. And Zeppa does too, but you got to pay 3K more for him. So those would be the two guys to look to on the Chaos side. So yeah, brief recap of the slate. I think for cash games, what you want to do is probably target a couple of those ENCE guys, so probably a Lou and maybe one of those cheap options. I think I would get to one or two of those FaZe guys, and then probably a couple Gen.G guys. I think that's the way I would go for cash games. I think maybe avoid this mibr Furia game for cash games. Maybe get one guy, but again, I think that game could go either way. For GPPs, yeah, again, the price tags in this mibr Furia game look really, really good. Again, the Gen.G guys look pretty cheap. I think you could use Leaf as a one-off. The Heretics side, I know they're underdogs, but I don't think they should be that big of underdogs right there. What, minus 400 favorites FaZe Clan are. Again, I don't agree with that. So I think you could, if you wanted to get risky, again, if you want to play a lot of that chalk, maybe you go ENCE, maybe you go Gen.G, and you want to get different and use Heretics side, I could see doing that, right? Normally my strategy for GPPs is I like playing a lot of the chalk, but getting different in one or two spots. So maybe the spot you get different is you go as Heretics side and hope for the upset. Again, I don't think they should be that big of dogs. But yeah, I think that's really going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I really appreciate it if you, again, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Those things really do continue to help me out to continue to grow this channel. If you listen to the Apple Podcasts, I'd appreciate a 5-star rating and review. But thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. Hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you all in the next one.